One. Good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me, as always, in the co-host seats are our good friends Angela Rose
Hello, everybody.
and Darren Starling.
Happy New Year, people.
We want to remind everybody that Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by Home Circle Media. For the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books, be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you by Dubby. If you're looking for a great energy drink with no crash, help keep you focused, and mentally, it's great for mental awareness and everything. Check out Dubby at dubby.gg and use code AZR10 at checkout for 10% off your order. We're also brought to you by Triple S Lawn Care. If you're in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area and you're looking for some great lawn care at a good price, be sure to reach out to Darren. He will hook you up.
Yep. Especially on anything involving a skid steer, because not much to do with a mower right now.
Again, we are excited to be back. If we had a nice little 2-week vacation where we were able to spend the holidays with friends and family. I hope all of you wonderful viewers and listeners out there were able to have a great holiday season as well. Happy 2024 to everybody. And it's fun to be back. New year.
New year, new anime, same craziness.
More isekais.
No.
Yes.
Enough isekais. Hi, Ross. How are you?
Hello, Ross. Happy 2024 to you as well. And I hope that you had a wonderful holiday break. Hopefully you were able to spend time with friends and family, and Santa was good to you. Up here in Pennsylvania, we're dealing with a fun winter wonderland where it snowed yesterday and last night to this morning. It was a fun drive into work for class this morning, playing with slushy roads. And you said in Boston area you didn't get as much.
It started snowing overnight, and then we got basically it was warm enough where it didn't stick and slushy roads, but nothing too terrible. Hey, Mario, how are you?
What is this foreign substance of snow that you were talking about? I have not seen such a thing in several years.
I'll have to send it your way then.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, it can be done.
And so I was chatting with Mario earlier tonight. Good evening, Mario. And he has finally finished Attack on Titan.
Yes. That means we can do an Attack on Titan.
So Mario Angela will probably be in contact with you about trying to set up an AOT special where you guys can just geek out over the abomination that is Attack on Titan and all their multiple seasons, part A, B, Q, Z, double X.
The abomination was just the final episode.
Oh, wasn't all of the final season?
It got progressively more obnoxious.
Mario says he has things to say.
As
He's sure you friended him on Facebook, so it will happen.
Aw. Ross, Happy New Year, John. Ross says, I got what I wanted, and it was chaos due to baby niece crying her lungs out during the trip, but it was
good.
It was good. And yeah, 2024. All right. So we finished most of the anime from 2023. We still have 2 shows left to finish.
Yep.
Goblin Slayer. Darren, did you finish Goblin Slayer season 2?
Yes. Kind of really left on a cliffhanger.
Agreed.
But it was nice seeing some people get into action that we haven't seen. Also, I'm still trying to figure out those other three. They just kind of got thrown in there.
Oh, the OP ones that were just kind of there to take out the big stuff.
Yeah, I remember them being mentioned or something last season, but I'm just like, when are they going to be integrated into this story? Like, come on.
Yeah, we'll find out. I think that's going to be part of the overarching plot, maybe for season 3. I'm speculating.
Hopefully, because goblins have got to be involved in some way, shape, or form.
Well, yes, the show's called Goblin Slayer, so if goblins weren't involved, I'd be a little concerned.
Well, they've taken out stuff before that's not goblins.
Well, yes, but
And Darren, you were saying that you finished up 100 Girlfriends, or as much as aired thus far.
Well,
I'm sure
yeah.
Ross is dying to know what your
crap.
thoughts are.
Psychopath Providence. I might need to watch that. Where is that?
In Providence.
Well, no.
Nope. This isn't caught in Providence, Doug.
It's not that little blip on the map called Rhode Island.
No.
And hello, John Knight. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Mine was very good. Our daughter had a wonderful Christmas, better than we were expecting her to.
Yay. No,
Mhm.
Christmas was nice. I'm gonna need to go check out Crunchy and double check that because it's entirely possible there's new Psychopaths that I haven't seen yet. And that was one of my favorites.
But what was it? Going back to the question I had for you, Darren, what was your opinion on 100 Girlfriends?
It was interesting. A little too much supernatural going on, though. That's my only complaint.
Are you referring to the vice principal?
No, not at
That
all.
was just scary.
No, I was referring to the other gentleman that came into play. Like I said, just a little too out there. I don't know how to phrase it.
The whole show is out there.
I know, but I'm just saying though, like
I even read ahead a little bit in the manga.
I'm not surprised.
Wait do you see the next one that comes in if they stay true to the manga?
Well,
Oh,
they
boy.
already showed the next girls in the last few seconds of the show. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
Not
That's what made me want to go on to read the manga a little bit and see what was going to happen in the future. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but it's definitely interesting. It keeps getting weirder and weirder.
Well,
how is this guy going to be able to have 100 girlfriends and keep everybody happy so they don't die?
I have to say, he's having a rough enough time with 6 right now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I forget. I think it was Giga that put a video out about it, but I think as far as the manga's out, it's 20. He's up to 26 now.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it's 23 or 20. It's in the 20s.
It's in the 20s. So I'm really curious to see how the author manages to pull this off.
And my wife and I had watched Gigik's video, and she wanted to check it out for the English dub standpoint. We did get a new term for having to go to the bathroom. Ross in the chat says 28 girls now, Darren.
Oh, damn.
The new term in English from episode 1 is blast a piss. So when the main character sees the blonde girl,
clover.
Yeah, the four-leaf clover, when she's looking for a place to go to the bathroom, in English, English voice actress used the term "blast a piss." So we have
Well, all
now
right.
jokingly said that for now. If I have to go to the bathroom, yeah, I'm gonna go blast a piss, and you can use that with your friends and throw them off. Actually, they'd expect that from you. That sounds like something you'd say.
No.
I gotta go blast a piss. New year, same goofiness.
Yup.
And Darren, you had a event in your area this weekend.
Yep. So the GalaxyCon franchise or GalaxyCon corporation, whatever you want to call it, I forget what it actually is.
Conglomerate.
They are creating a new sublet of conventions called Animate. So in Raleigh in particular, GalaxyCon is always held in July. So they tried to pull a Japan style summer winter deal and they decided to put a winter event in, and ironically it's the first week of the year. Or weekend of the year, I should say.
And how was that? I know you were able to sneak out there for a little bit.
Yeah, all in all, kind of underwhelming. Having space while walking down aisles and around the venue was weird. Not being claustrophobic was weird.
That would be a nice feeling though, because you're actually able to like stop and appreciate things.
It was.
Granted, I know you're used to being like shoved along the conveyor belt of attendees, but
Yeah. All in all, for the weekend, I heard rumors it was around the 10,000 mark, if not a little less. So for 3 days for 10,000, that's kind of lower than Anime-Zing and significantly lower than the GalaxyCon event because, if I'm not mistaken, GalaxyCon pulled upwards of 50,000.
I'm not
So
sure.
it was a significantly less advertised, less attended event. I heard my friend who I didn't know was working the event. He works for a game shop, so they were actually there. Me and him. He took a break and he walked the dealer room with me and was chatting up some of the dealers. And they said that some of them said that they were doing okay, and he said others were doing so bad that they just went ahead and called it like on day one or on day two because they said they weren't making anything.
Yup. That's been that actually happened. We witnessed that during PoochieCon the year I
Yeah.
went, where the same thing happened. I think
Huh.
conventions as a whole, or from the vendor perspective, conventions as a whole are still bouncing back from COVID.
Yeah. And in the
Mhm.
chat, Ross said that because there was no new anime this week, he was able to have an anime marathon that started last Sunday. So he needed his anime fix since we weren't on the air. He's watched and caught up on Pretty Derby, started and finished Order as a Rabbit, caught up on Laid Back Camp, and watching the movie tonight, and was finally able to watch Maria the Virgin Witch. That's quite a
Oh,
bit of
wow.
stuff.
And
Maria
then
the Virgin Witch was an interesting series.
That was good. I enjoyed that one.
And then John Knight in the chat, what did everybody get for Christmas?
Nothing.
The day off.
Yeah, pretty much.
The day off and able to spend time with my family. That was about it. Due to the fact that my wife and I we bought some games for the Switch, and that was about it. My daughter got a lot of she got some games, a lot of Pokemon stuff and things of that nature. But really didn't do a whole
About
lot.
to say, my mom tried, in the sense of she bought some food that she doesn't normally buy. and wrapped it up and was like at least attempted to make it interesting. But all in all, that was it. Like I really didn't get anything outside of Secret Santa at work, and that was a $25 vanilla gift card, vanilla Visa gift card. I mean, which was fine.
I don't know why the video switched like that.
I thought you did that pressing buttons.
Yeah,
I don't think
push
I
the
pressed the
button.
button.
One of us accidentally pressed a button and then you just finally noticed it. Cool.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I was reading chat.
Nope. For the most part, Christmas was more. Doug, what are you doing?
I was about to say.
Christmas was more about spending time with my husband's family. Yeah, we got we got gifts, but nothing too over the top or outlandish.
But Christmas was nice up here. I mean, we were in the 50s, I think, for Christmas.
Same.
It was nice out. It was nicer out for Christmas, nothing too ridiculously cold. And then last week we had one morning it was under 30.
We got those coming up here shortly because I got rain in the forecast Tuesday and Friday.
We got snow today. Yeah, we're back to weather. We're supposed to hit 50 before the week is over, so my sinuses are gonna hate me. And John Knight in the chat says he got an Xbox Series X. That's awesome.
Nice.
Wait a minute. What could I possibly buy with $25 Ross?
Down payment on a Dakimakura.
There were some interesting Dakimakura today, but none that caught my attention enough to buy anything. However, I did buy a couple things as I had to.
Yeah. I thank you for asking if there was anything that we were looking for, and as tempting as that figure was, $275 was still a little out of my price range right now.
Well, too bad. Because guess what?
You bought it?
For you.
Really?
Yep. That particular booth had a deal. Buy one figure, get another 50% off. Of whichever figure cost less was the 50% off one.
So you bought one that was more expensive than that?
No, I bought one that was a little less than that. But regardless, I still got a discount. So I bought that one for you, and I'm going to actually turn my camera on so everybody else can see it. Because apparently there were not many figures made for this show, especially not this size. Also, I consulted with my friend who is very heavy into figure collecting, and he said the price wasn't terrible. So
that's insane. And anybody who's been a fan of the show for a while knows that I loved Kuma Bear, and Yuna is a very fun character. It's an adorable outfit. I'm not going to lie. And it's one that if I had the money to spend, I probably would have.
Well, there's something else you need to know. I had another option of a figure that I was looking at for you, but it was almost $100 more. And that was Miss Maline. It was her. What was it? Was it her bunny figure? I don't remember.
It could have been. And I know just before we took our Christmas break, Angela got the gift that our friend Rick gave us for her.
I think I showed that off already. I
Yeah,
might have even opened it up, like taken it out of the box on camera.
I think you did. Which, big
But
thank you to Rick from Nerd Urbanity for that. He didn't have to do that. Absolutely wonderful guy.
Agreed.
but yeah, Doug. So while I purchased that for you, I purchased something else for me. You want to take a guess who?
You found a Zenobia figure.
No, there was only 2 ever made. I have one of the 2.
Rias figure?
Nope, not quite. Not from this booth.
Something from DXD.
Nope.
Is it a
All right.
rabbit girl?
Nope.
Let's see it.
Ah,
I cannot. Let's pull Darren's screen up and
man, even with the reflection, it's terrible.
Is that Nightmare from Date Alive?
Of
Kurumi?
course.
So he found a Kurumi figure.
Yep, at that same booth, and it was one of the bigger figures.
Wow.
But hey, like I said, half off. It was a $200-something figure.
Well, there you have it. There you go.
Yep.
And thank you very much.
Yes. Well, the one thing is, how long is it going to be in my house before you get it?
Not gonna lie, if I didn't have school today, the thought crossed my mind to leave Friday to drive out there because it's like an 8-hour drive. I would have done that. I would have been exhausted, but the thought did cross my mind.
Well, to be fair, I did go to Ohio, which was like an 8-9 hour drive, pick up a piece of equipment, and then come back in the same day. So.
And Mario says, "Good taste. She looks amazing."
Well, thank you.
And speaking of older shows that I really enjoy, I did get into the habit over the holidays where I kind of get to work like a half hour, 45 minutes early just because you never know what traffic's going to be like up here, especially in the mountains, and the weather pattern always changes. So I started, once I caught up on everything I was watching, I started rewatching some shows. So I went back and rewatched The Helpful Fox Senko-san. I rewatched New Game. And I think I rewatched something else. I don't remember, but it was fun to go back rewatch some of these shows. Restarted Bocchi the Rock again, and give me something to watch while waiting for new episodes to drop. Oh, and you got some more stuff, Darren?
Yeah, I told you. I said I didn't buy something from that booth.
Ah.
So, yeah. This one I didn't get as good of a discount on, but oh well. My thing would quit. So I ended up with Rias's bikini figure.
Of course, you had to get a Rias figure.
Well, she's not the only one. Because unfortunately, Akano and Asia and Konako, you can't find. You really can't.
Yeah, I don't know why they made those so difficult to try to find stuff.
Well, it's not so much that they're difficult to find, it's just that they put out production and most people with a brain are holding on to them. So, and also limited production runs, yada, yada, yada. But, and here's the other one, and this one was a staple. This is the quarter scale version.
There you go, Ange.
Okay.
And this is the one without the stockings.
Yep.
Because there is two versions of that, and that's the one without. And actually, that's a slightly higher price version. And if I'm not mistaken, I got it at cost. So
Nice. Mario in
now
the chat says praise.
Now I just gotta get a glass cabinet to house the thing.
And you were saying that attendance was down. Was there a lot of guests there? I know the guest list looked pretty impressive.
There was a decent amount of guests. Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of time with them because the times I went, they were not in their booths. So, unfortunately, I really didn't get to speak to anyone except Jade Saxton, who didn't really remember being on the show.
Now, she's been on twice, but she does. She does a lot of stuff too. So,
also, they had something interesting though. They had actual playing cards from Japan. Like, you know how they do Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic cards, da-da-da-da-da? Well, they do it for other series as well. And they actually had some Konako cards imported from Japan. And I was really tempted to get one, but I can't remember if they were going for 40 or 60. And I'm just like, look, I love you, but not that much.
I would say speaking of purchasing things, we were in a mall. I can't remember if it was Lehigh Valley Mall in the Allentown, Pennsylvania area, but we went to a mall and found that they had a whole string of gotcha machines. And of course, me being me was like, oh, let's let's see what we can get out of these, because they had Spy Family ones, they had Inuyasha ones, they had a bunch of different series, of course, Demon Slayer and My Hero and stuff like that. So we went through and we got, I think we got almost 22 little gotcha balls, because it seemed steep to get like 20. It said like 22 coins for $20, which I thought was kind of steep, but I put a 20 in anyway because that's all I had on me. And we got enough to get 22 gotcha balls. So I'm guessing that it was for balls and not coins, because each gotcha machine was like 4 or 5 coins per spin. And a couple of them we got almost my wife messaged saying that yes, we got 22. It was supposed to be 22 coins, not 22 items, and we had enough coins for 22 items. So we really made out on that deal.
Congratulations.
They are somewhere upstairs. When we are able to find them and dig them out, I will probably show them on the show probably next week if we can find them during the week. And Ross in the chat says he's kind of jealous of you, Darren. He says that he just researched on Google, and it turns out his favorite girl of the series, Irina Shodu, the angel, never got a figure made. Nope. And Darren's lucky; all his favorite girls got a figure.
Well, Irina was my number 3, so because Zenobia 1, Rias 2, and Irina was right behind. So I can't remember if they put Ross Weiss out It's it's been a while since I've searched all the.
It HH says 28 gotcha balls. If one of them isn't legendary or better, I'd be pissed. HH, good to see you.
Yes, welcome, HH. Now we wanted to take a moment to look back at 2023, the year that was for Anime-Zing Radio and anime in general. Show wise and individually wise, we all had a crazy year in 2023 if we're wanted to look back. Everything
Pretty
from moving, changing jobs. We were able to I was able to get to a convention with both of you. Granted,
Just
it was
not the same
separately,
one.
just not the same one. And my wife brought the bag down of gotcha balls. So it definitely was a crazy, crazy year. Personally, I was able to achieve some goals and dreams that I didn't think was going to be possible for the longest time when it comes to the show. You know, Darren and I had talked for a long time about wanting to meet in person. He was supposed to come up for Anime Boston in 2020, and then COVID happened, and so that was cut short. And it was great to, granted, it was for work, but I was able to finally get to a convention in North Carolina for the first time, and I thank Darren for the hospitality of allowing me to stay there with him and get out to a convention and kind of explore his world a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was really neat to get to GalaxyCon, an event that I've heard of many a time. You've reviewed it on the show quite a few times.
Yep. Well, it was an event that was introduced out of nowhere back in 2016, 2017, I want to say, and was a more inclusive alternative than well, and when I say inclusive, I mean drew in a bigger crowd because it appealed to more audiences. It wasn't just anime related.
And of course, being able to go to Anime Boston and hang out with Angela, getting press stuff done, was a lot of fun as well. Angela and I, where we had lived closer to each other than Darren and myself, we have been able to get to conventions and hang out together more frequently.
Yep.
Including shows like FujiCon, Anime Boston, AAC, just to name a few.
And then this year it was Anime Boston and Rail City. And by this year I mean 2023.
And that Rail City was an event where I was able to accomplish a huge dream. And a lot of you have known for years that I've always wanted to be able to bring a voice actor to a convention. I knew it wasn't going to be cheap with airline tickets and hotel and things of that nature, but it was had been a dream of mine to be able to get to spend time with a voice actor and get to know them better, more so than just the little bit of time they spend on the show. B, help out a convention, especially one that I enjoy going to and knowing the conditions of the convention and the way that the owner is running the convention. Having the right mind frame to know that a small convention in its second year really doesn't have the funding to bring in big name guests yet. And the way that Luke had run it in year one had me really impressed with the staff and everything, which is why we were excited and ecstatic to be able to bring Christy Rothrock to Rail City. And I know, Ange, you were a part of that as well. I know that you were supportive of everything going on. That was just an amazing weekend.
Agreed. And I felt really bad having to cut my time short, but but driving home in a rainstorm, not fun.
Yeah.
And that's that whole I know that whole safety first nonsense. Because the
But
last thing I wanted to do was like hydroplane and destroy my car on a 89.
Yeah.
I was about to say, but OSHA's not in this chat.
And Darren, I know that if it wasn't for your work schedule, you would have made an attempt to come up and hang out with us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
Well,
Sharka.
Hello, Sharka.
And Ross in the chat says he's not been able to finish Goblin Slayer or Ancient Magus Bride, both season twos, because English dub actors did not, or the English dubs did not go up this week.
Yeah, the Freerun is 3 episodes behind on the dub. The Saint's Magic Powers Omnipotent hasn't had an English dub episode go up in about 2 weeks. So I think because of the holidays, a lot of shows kind of got delayed. Plus, there were some new shows that have come out that they're probably going to be looking at starting to dub. And my wife did bring down the bag of gotcha, as I'm dropping one on the floor now, from the Inuyasha one. The first gotcha I got, being a fan of the Inuyasha franchise, Sango was my favorite character from it. So we got a little Sango figure. I'll open up more of these as the show progresses. But how is 2023 for you, Ange?
I'm gonna say it was chaos. Overall, the whole leaving a workplace where I'd been at that location for several years. I had a lot of friends there, colleagues. That was very bittersweet. The whole not choosing to job search, but basically being told I had to. That was interesting. And then starting a new job, and then within 3 weeks of starting a new job, leaving the country.
I'm sure your coworkers loved you for that.
They knew I did my interviews and was very upfront about, hey, by the way, I'm leaving the country in August, family vacation, da 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 da.
This has
Not
been
not refundable, not rescheduling, not doing anything. So sorry for your loss.
Pretty much. But they were super cool about it, and subsequently, getting to see new countries, and also finding how anime fans in other countries are, and what's popular, what's not.
Did you find Nemo?
52 Wallaby Way.
One of these days, I'm gonna have a smart comment. She's just gonna leave her screen, walk into my frame, and smack me.
Someday. Today is not that day.
But that would be really funny. And John Knight never ceases to amaze me with his knowledge of the voice actors. January 5th was Jesse James Greeley's 20th anniversary as a voice actor. Jesse James Greeley, also known by Josh Greeley, who has appeared on the show, has voiced many characters, including many harem protagonists, including Issei from DxD, and I want to say 3rd season Beyond. He was in Date Alive, as well as many more.
I say he didn't take Issei till season 3 aired.
That's what I said. Season 3.
No, you were said Date Alive.
No, I said season 3, and then I jumped to Date Alive.
No, I thought you jumped to Date Alive first.
Either way.
But anyway.
Nope. 2023 was definitely an interesting year. But yeah, Darren, how about you? How was 2023?
Hectic, busy, record year. I still want to quit my job, and will probably do so halfway through the year.
And thank you for sharing that, Ross. I actually did forget about that. One of my favorite video game franchises is getting a movie. Borderlands.
Borderlands is getting a movie?
Apparently, I think I remember hearing something about that it was in the works. But hey, I'd watch that.
I've attempted Borderlands 3, got to a point where I got stuck with it and ran out of ammunition and just kind of dropped it.
If it is available, what system are you playing it on?
I don't remember. I think I was playing it. It might have even been on a computer. I don't remember what system I was playing it on.
Because if we can cross-platform that, which I'm not entirely certain you can.
If it was on any of the, if it would either be on that or it was on PlayStation.
Because if it was on PlayStation, we could play together, and I could get you through that because I have at least one character max leveled. And Ross is naming the cast of the Borderlands movie, and I do remember reading this: Jack Black, yup, Jamie Lee Curtis, okay, and Kevin Hart. Yeah, I vaguely remember hearing about this at one point back in the day. On that note, question for anybody and everybody: has anyone actually watched the live-action Yu Yu Hakusho?
Nope. I'm not gonna lie, the live action stuff has not intrigued me enough to watch any of them because they're all shows that I probably wouldn't have watched in anime form. So I don't feel the need to watch them in live action form. And it may just be personal preference. It may just be lack of time or just not interested enough to want to invest the time.
That's fair. I haven't. Not sure I'm gonna. And John's in the chat with another voice actor birthday. Today is Melly Grant's birthday. She's the voice of Di Maria Yesta in Fairy Tale, Public Safety Commission President in My Hero Academia, Female Warrior in Goblin Slayer, and Nakano's mom in Senko-san.
Oh, okay. Especially considering the fact I just rewatched that like last week. That's fresh on my mind.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews. I haven't seen it. But I've heard some positive things, some not as positive things. But this one kind of, unlike One Piece, this one got like zero hype, zero like mention. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
I do remember us talking about the fact that they were doing this, and some people were like, "Wait, there's going to be another live action out? Why hasn't anybody really heard about it?" So I've even heard some of our favorite YouTubers and Anitubers talk about it, that it got no hype, it got no talk about, and some of them didn't even know it was coming out until it was already out. So
Ross wants to know, has anybody besides him watched Fluffy Paradise? Can we share thoughts on it?
I love this show.
Ironically, my friend that I went to go visit today, the people that worked with him mentioned this one.
Is this one of the new ones?
It is a new one.
And I think I haven't watched it. I actually think that one's one of the ones on my list, if I'm not mistaken. Now I have to check.
that was an original that was on my list before my wife was like talked me into watching 2 other ones. Well, I can't really say she talked me into it. We kind of talked about shows that we wanted to watch together since, we enjoy spending time together, and while we're eating dinner, we'll watch an anime or something, or YouTube or something like that.
This one is one of the ones that this is on my list. Whether or not we stick with it is another story.
The question I have for you, Ange, is do you like cute, fluffy animals?
That's why it's on the list.
Like Senko-san.
Never seen Senko-san. It's really gonna come down to. It's really gonna come down to is it going to be well written? And is the because what based on the My Anime List image, the art looks good. A good a good cute slice of life is can be really really good, but cute alone is not gonna keep me interested.
After watching the first 2 episodes, and I will try not to spoil anything, but Ross, I think I know where what your thoughts might be on this show. It is freaking cute. I really have been enjoying the show. My wife has been enjoying the show as well.
Is that one on Crunchyroll?
That is a Crunchy.
Okay. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do tomorrow morning is go through Crunchyroll and put make the watch list of everything new.
And literally episode 2 dropped today. Episode 1 dropped on January 1st. They dropped it a little bit early.
A little bit late, you mean?
Well, it was the first episode, according to My Anime List, wasn't supposed to come out until today, but they dropped the first episode on
a week
January
early.
1st. Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, I have. But yeah, we still have stuff from last season to finish. We haven't started anything this season yet. Last season, last year at this time, we actually had so much anime that we had talked about so much that stood out to the point where we did a top 5 list. I'm going to go out on a limb, possible hot take here, and say that for 2023, there was nowhere near as much that was as good or stood out as much as previous years.
I will agree on that.
I can agree to that.
Because looking back at this year was more memorable, not so much based on, oh my God, there were so many amazing shows that came out, but more so based on the quirkiness of some of the shows.
Like, yeah, I think, like, yeah, Spy Family Season 2, Goblin Slayer Season 2 for me. Was Bo Fury Season 2 this year, or was that the end of last year?
That was winter.
But there wasn't as much that stood out.
And it felt like there were a lot more sequels this year than there was original anime.
And like the thing that stood out was freaking vending machine. Like I will credit where due. That stood out.
I like my romances this year because there was a lot of them.
I did watch a couple of romances. One I'm not finished with.
Did you ever finish Tomo?
I never started Tomo.
I thought you watched Tomo for some reason.
It got put on the list and then we ran out of time, and Going back to the chat, Mario says you're not wrong. Okay, that's adorable.
That is Fluffy Paradise.
John Knight
Ross, that's
says
for you.
January 4th marks the 10th anniversary of Space Dandy dub. It was Crunchyroll, formerly Funimation, first simul dub the day before it aired in Japan.
Yep. One of the rare occasions the dub released before the original.
And Ross says, allow me to share the Crunchyroll comment I posted Thursday here on YouTube. This is the most comforting, peaceful anime of the year so far. Absolutely love the first. Absolute. Everything was so cute and comforting and hilarious.
And I'm guessing that is based off of Fluffy Paradise. Like I said, my wife actually sent me that little GIF of Lars.
Oh boy.
And that was absolutely adorable.
John, since
everything.
John Knight says since he got the Crunchyroll 3-month premium card, what anime should he watch? That all three of us could make you a laundry list, and there would be, I think, exactly 2 shows that would be on all 3 lists. Maybe 3.
And one of those shows, Spy Family.
Yep.
Now this was 2 more of the gotchas that we'd gotten out: Sleepy Anya and Sleepy Lloyd.
Yep. My little Anya's gonna go back on my book.
I got this Anya.
Oh, that was a popular cosplay today, or correction, yesterday. There was
That
quite
does
a
not
few.
surprise me.
There was quite a few Yor and Anya cosplays, but not a whole lot of Lloyd's.
Huh. Interesting.
3 more of the gotchas to go with the Inuyasha theme. You had Kikyo, Shippo, and Inuyasha had gotten a second Sango figure as well,
And
which you get that.
Anya's precious, absolutely. Fun fact: we watched the final episode of Spy Family season 2 over the weekend.
I
It
need
was
to finish
adorable.
that.
We're a little behind because we're watching it in English. Little like bag tag things that we had gotten out of the gotchas include Yor, Lloyd, Damien. Of course, you have to have Anya.
So, Doug, I gotta ask, did Spy Family redeem itself? I know you were a little uncertain in the beginning.
It did. It got better about the time when I started bitching about it, and you're like, I've watched farther than you have. It gets back onto the story and it gets better, and it did get a lot better. Also got Becky and Yuri, Yuri's brother. And then Demon Slayer stuff. I don't really know all the characters' names, and you probably could help out with these.
It's been so long since I've watched Demon Slayer. I don't.
I think that's Tanjiro. Is that the main character?
Yes, it's Tanjiro.
So that one I know, and the other 2 I have no idea.
I don't either.
I forget.
I don't. And Ross in the chat says, John, tell us your preferred anime genre. That might help us. Let's see. If we'll start with the ones we all enjoyed. Spy Family, Dress Up Darling, Bo Fury.
Dress Up Darling was 2022 though. But yes.
His whole thing was, what anime should I watch?
What anime should he watch that's on Crunchyroll?
And those are the 3 that all 3 of us watched in the past couple of years and thoroughly enjoyed.
Yep. Well,
I will say Freerun has my vote. If I was going to do a top 5 list, Freerun would definitely be in it. I know we were talking about that there wasn't a lot of original stuff, or didn't feel like there was a ton of original anime that came out this year.
Okay.
But Frieren was definitely one, and I know that it's been hyped and a lot of people have been talking about it. But I am gonna say, in my opinion, and in my taste of anime, Frieren is probably one of the best original idea animes I've seen in a long time.
John says he likes shonen.
Mm, 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 mm.
In that case, you know what? I'm gonna start with the ones that I know I'm going to get told are overhyped and overrated, and
Fairy
I'd
Tail,
say
My Hero, Attack on
Fairy Tail, My
Titan,
Hero, Attack on Titan, but stop after season 3.
Black Clover.
I didn't actually watch Black Clover. Mashl's a good one.
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online.
Isn't that Aniplex?
Sword Art's on Crunchy.
Oh,
Aniplex did some of the work on it, but it still was a Funimation title that went to Crunchy.
I could have swore that was an exclusive Aniplex. Well, maybe when they redid the licensing a couple of years ago. I don't remember.
I think that's what happens when the licensing got redone. Funimation or Crunchyroll was able to get
If you
get
like,
part of it.
Well, don't forget, they're all technically the same company at this point.
Yeah, you've got Sony and you've got Sentai.
if you like mecha, Gundam Witch from Mercury was also really good.
You fall down the Gundam rabbit hole. I'm sure Angela can give you a list of all the Gundams to watch.
I've actually only watched a couple of them.
One of
I've played the video games.
Knights and Magic, John, if you haven't seen that, that was actually really good. Clockwork Planet surprised me. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, it was better than Handshakers.
Let's see. He says he's already watched My Hero, Sword Art, and Fairy Tail.
Banished from the Heroes Party. I saw that Ross was talking about that, saying that that started today, which I've already watched the first episode of season 2.
I haven't. No surprise there, and I've got to go back and finish season 1.
I just got to get on a lot of these.
What else for sure?
And part of Banished that intrigued Angela was the fact that it felt like a D&D campaign at the start. And also she got to meet and hang out with one of the voice actors from the show.
Yep.
At PuchiCon when he finally arrived.
One in person, and then getting to sit here on the show and basically nerd out with Danny Chambers regarding board games and whatnot. That was also really cool.
Wait, Gleipnir's considered shonen? Really?
Ross's suggestions: Magical Spec Ops, Asuka, Darwin's Game, Gleipnir.
Who would have thought? Darwin's Game was... Yeah, I watched Darwin's Game. That was good too.
One that's not necessarily a shonen, but also really good that I would recommend almost anybody is Erased.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for something a little bit different, and this is a show that I am like one episode behind on. I didn't realize that they dropped the last episode. I think they took a week before dropping it, but Overtake. Very, very surprising with the storyline on that. I did not expect how serious and how much underlying storyline there was behind an anime that looked like it was just about auto racing.
Doug, from Ross, did you notice that today's episode that Written Red's clothes colors are different now?
I did not, but before watching it, I had mentioned to my wife that I really need to go back and rewatch the first series, the first season, so that I can kind of remind myself of where they left off. I know that that may sound like a cop out of I watched episode 1 of season 2 and I don't fully remember where they left off in season 1, but
That
it's
that's
a good refresher, and I think Rudy might be my favorite character in the series.
And that's kind of another thing, another trending bit. Uh, is one thing I'm noticing is that outside of the ongoings, we're seeing a lot of season 1 will drop, they'll announce a season 2, and then it will be several years before we see it.
Hence, killing slimes for 300 years, we're still waiting for season 2.
hmm
And like, or we'll see like a show, and then 2 or 3 seasons will go by, and then we'll have a season 2, and then 3 or 4 more seasons will go by, and so on and so forth. You get the idea.
And I'm on the My Anime list looking ahead, um, talking about some shows that have, an additional season coming out. I'm trying to see, like, okay, the ones that they've talked about, will we see that? I know um, Love Live, uh, the 4th version of it was supposed to get a season 3, but I'm not seeing that formally announced anywhere. Spring, you're going to get season 3 of Reincarnated as a Slime and Konosuba. Jobless Reincarnation, season 2, part 2. I don't know why they feel that they need to do a season 2, part 1, part 2, just make it a whole new damn season.
hmm
This naming convention stuff
Good
is
night,
just crap.
Mario. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining us. And HH says, still waiting for a third One Punch season, or was it 4?
Have a wonderful night, Mario.
season
Thank you
3
so
is
much for
waiting.
joining us. Oh, sorry, Darren. I think I was talking over you.
It's okay. I was talking over you.
But again, thank you so much, Mario, for joining us. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest when you watch it tomorrow. And thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you to all you guys out there who either watch us live here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or listen to us on the podcast platforms all over the world. Angela had shown me some of the stats during our little break of the breakdown of where people listen to Anime-Zing Radio. And the fact that I think it was about 5% of our listening audience on podcast platforms is Japan kind of blows me away.
Hold on. I'm actually going to
Crash the server. No.
Nope. It is 83% United States, 5% Japan, 3% United Kingdom, 2% Germany,
Wow.
and so on
1%
and so forth.
And really, thank you so much to all of you guys out there who tune into us. It is definitely surreal to know that we are listened to all over the world. That's one of the beauties of the internet and being able to do something like this. We really enjoy being able to come together and put this show on. Granted, some of it is last minute, some of it's hodgepodge. We do enjoy when we have guests on. We do have one guest that is scheduled to join us on the 21st, from Anime Boston. And why is her name slipping my mind right now? Did I write? Pam Swanson is going to be joining us on the 21st. So we're excited about that.
Jumping back to analytics for a bit, Ross says, curious, do you think they could understand us in other countries? Ross, one of the most common second languages people speak is actually English.
There's more people that speak English in China than in America.
If I didn't know China, if I didn't know a general idea of China's population, I would actually argue that, but HH, you may very well be right, and some of those might be bots.
but numbers are numbers.
Exactly. I'm the Spotify doesn't distinguish bots. Spotify doesn't distinguish.
And the more listens we get on these other platforms, the higher up the recommended for you to listeners we will become. And the more fans of the show that we get, the better, because we do this as entertainment. This is a place where we can come together and talk about something we love, between the anime conventions, video games, tabletop gaming,
And
basically we just get to nerd out on the air for 2 hours with
occasionally
amazing
Ange has a hot take that just becomes a point of discussion for quite
And
some time.
And occasionally Darren falls asleep and you get to listen to my sleep talking.
And occasionally I have a hot take that makes Angela go, wait, what? Well, Fury is what I was hoping SAO would have become.
Don't even.
that
Fury,
was great.
Comparing Bo Fury to SAO is like comparing apples to oranges.
It's like comparing vending machine to a talking pig.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, did Leanne finish that one, since I know she was watching it?
No, she was just talking. She was just talking about that tonight, that she's got so many shows she needs to finish.
One thing from Ross. One thing we need to address, I think a lot of people this season are going to get disappointed on their shows because there are a couple of ecchis that aired this week that will be uncensored. And HH says,
wait, they're going to be aired censored or uncensored? I'm a little confused by that. Why would I be disappointed if it aired uncensored?
HH says, that's it. I'm making an apple and orange hybrid.
This isn't Full Metal Alchemist where we make hybrids of things.
And then Ross, for this season, the shows are Chained Soldier and Gushing Over Magical Girls. I'm confused.
Both of which are on my list.
Gushing Over Magical Girls was a maybe on my list for this season. Obviously, I was going to be watching Banished from the Heroes Party, which I already started. Fluffy Paradise, I've already started. Two that weren't on my list originally that I started, Demon Prince of Momochi House and Tales of Wedding Rings.
Well, don't forget, Ross has been shoving Tales of Wedding Rings down our throats for the past couple of months.
Yeah. It wasn't originally on my list, but trying to find shows that my wife and I wanted to watch together, that was one that came up. And after seeing some screenshots from it and hearing a little bit more about it, I figured I'd give it a shot.
Cat butt.
Yeah, that's Haru.
Well, no more cat.
Speaking of which, Doug, I was very tempted to get one of those for your cats today, but I was like, they might drive them a little crazy.
What, a cat butt?
You know what I'm talking about. What?
A cat butt?
No. Did you not see the picture I sent you earlier? They were little anime body pillows about yay big, but they were filled with catnip.
I didn't know they were full of catnip. I did see the picture, and I did see that there was like a 02 with cat ears and a few other characters with cat ears.
No, yeah, those are like 2 or 3 inch by 8 inch little body pillows, but they're filled with catnip.
I bet the cats would have loved them. I won't lie.
And Ross says, so even though they will be fully uncensored series, eventually through the series, there could show up some legal problems if not careful, if you're understanding where I'm coming from.
Well, North Carolina is on timeout right now.
Darren's been bad.
Not Darren.
Yeah, North Carolina's on timeout from anything over 17 until further notice.
we're going to leave politics out of this for the time being.
I'm just saying what content is banned. I didn't state a reason why.
I know.
What is gushing over magical girls? What is I don't think that's a Crunchyroll. Is that a High Dive?
Oh, based on the fact that High Dive's been getting all the ecchi series lately, I hope so.
That was only one way to find out. Let me go to High Dive and take a look. Simulcasts. Yes, gushing over magical girls is High Dive.
Thank God.
They also have my instant death ability is overpowered.
That's on my list.
The Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy.
Also
Ranga
on the list.
Crimson. More Urusei Yatsura. The Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess.
That was this past season, but
These are just ones that are shown that they're still in part of the simulcasts. Bless you.
Thank you.
Well, that would explain why they're still airing.
And John Knight in the chat says yesterday was Johnny Young Bosch's birthday. He was a part of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the voice of Ichigo in Bleach, Vash in Trigun. He was in Code Geass and Demon Slayer as well. So happy birthday to Johnny Young Bosch.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had to laugh looking at Facebook earlier. Our friend Kaylee Mills posted a picture of her cosplaying as Rem from ReZero. The reason that I found that funny is she is the voice of Amelia in ReZero. And we got to say hi to her.
Amelia.
I think Amelia is better than Rem or Ram. Throw the hate if you want, but I thought Amelia was better.
I like Rem. Beatrice was no.
But I thought you liked Beatrice.
She's annoying. I mean,
she served her role.
I know she did.
As bad as that sounds, she served her role in the series, at least in the first season. I can't say much for the second season because it just didn't like draw me in like the first season did. And that's something I've noticed with shows. I feel that a lot of these shows that you are getting second seasons and where it takes a while, you kind of lose the momentum you had of the fandom from the original season.
I can agree to that.
Even with something like Data Live, where the first few seasons started off really strong, and then it just kind of fizzled out. It almost felt like they were trying too hard to maintain what they wanted instead of being able to just keep a decent storyline going.
Mm-hmm.
Like season 4, I lost interest part way through. I tried watching it in Japanese and in English, and I couldn't get through the 4th season. And Ross in the chat says, so I guess this means Amelia prefers Rem than herself better, and Beatrice rocks just as much as Rem. And hello, Timothy. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to 2024 Anime-Zing Radio Style. So happy to see so many people in the chat being active. We really do love the interaction with you guys. Thank you all so much for all of the support you've shown us throughout the years. Really, really mean that. 2024 is going to be a monumental year for AZR. We're going to hit a huge milestone later this year. Hopefully, things will work out where possibly all of us could be in the same spot at the same time to do something special. But Anime-Zing Radio will turn 10 in April. And I never would have dreamed when I started this show way back when we would even be thinking of 10 years. Some people didn't think that I'd last a year. But here we are, and we've had many changes throughout the years, different co-hosts.
I'll be honest. When you first invited me to be on, I didn't expect this to be a permanent thing. Not complaining. Was not expecting this. It's fantastic.
How much are you getting paid? How much are you getting paid to say that?
You think I'm getting paid? That's funny.
I'm not even getting paid for this.
That was a joke, but okay.
John Knight says, what did everyone do on New Year's week? He and his family
Work.
went to DC and he took a whole week off from work. For the most, New Year's Day, I went down to the outlets and gave myself some retail therapy. Beyond that, I worked.
Worked. Had New Year's Eve off, and then the job that I was supposed to be, the train I was supposed to work on New Year's Day got annulled. So I ended up having New Year's Day off as well. And then I had to work one of the busiest locals out of the terminal that I work out of for 4 days.
From Ross, can anime studios stop making at the end of first season cliffhangers that might say season 2 when it never gets announced? I'm referring to last season anime Disgrace Noble Lady Crash Course in Not.
Well, to be fair, Sekirei did the same thing many years ago.
Yeah.
And so did Medaka Box.
I would argue Yuri on Ice did it as well. They basically, at the very end clip, there was a see you in season 2, and season 2 hasn't come out yet. Timothy says, embarrassed to say, I spent the night watching playthroughs of Alan Wake 2.
That's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Hey, if watching Let's Plays are your thing, that's awesome.
I watch Minecraft YouTubers for entertainment, and I've talked about some of them on the show before. And if they ever hear of us talking about them, people like Jerome ASF and his group of friends, Cappy, Dropsy. I know Dropsy has attended PAX East, and I think she was there last year.
I'll say this: ever since they redid Achievement Hunter, I don't watch a lot of Let's Plays anymore. I watch far more food and travel YouTube blogs or YouTubers.
I never would have guessed that you'd watch food and travel. Considering, in fact, you love to bake and you go all over the world.
I was gonna say, were you being serious or sarcastic?
And once I finished, you realized which.
Yeah.
I do have one gripe about one of the YouTubers that we both enjoy. Chris Broad promised 21 days of
he realized he realized if you didn't finish Journey Across Japan Nonstop North, if you're not caught up with that, he said somewhere that might have been a Patreon extra, it might not have been, but he basically said, yeah, that was dumb of me to think I could edit and upload videos every day from the North. And he decided, screw it, we're going for quality and not quantity.
Which is understandable because the stuff that he has put out, and granted, it's been a few days in between some of the episodes, they have been quite entertaining. I'm waiting to see the stuff he puts out when Joey the Anime Man joins him. The last episode I saw was him and his girlfriend, Charla.
They're engaged now.
Fiance.
But yeah, no, he and Charla were adorable.
He and Connor were adorable.
The way they treated Connor like crap.
Yeah. That has now become kind of the running gag. That
I know.
Even on Trash Taste, Connor's like, I got stuck on this friggin', a island.
Well, Connor shouldn't have cheated on the bike race.
And then Joey comes in and gets 5-star hotels. What the heck is up with that?
You want to see some cool speaking of five-star content, you want to see some what $1 million will get you in Japan, check out Tokyo Portfolio.
Is he the one that's the like real estate agent?
Yes, 100%.
And he's been Chris has had him on a few times, right?
Chris Broad is also featured in a couple of videos on his channel.
Okay. As you can tell, we watch a lot of Japanese YouTubers, people who live in Japan,
and
angry Brits.
And yes, from Ross, and yes, Darren from earlier, I did shove Tales of Wedding Rings down your throat. It was really great. Got the manga right. Plus, you'll love the ending theme a lot. I don't think we talked about this during the holidays last year, but you did hear that Iron Mouse won an award.
Iron Mouse won Streamer of the Year.
And then HH says, Let's Plays are very popular. Personally, I like some Keeper Turmoil.
Keeper Turmoil?
I am confused. Agreed, Let's Plays are very popular.
I do have a game called Turmoil, which is it's like the simplest concept of where you have to go drilling for oil. You see underground, and you have to kind of guess where oil is, and you have to pump oil and sell it and stuff like that.
Timothy says, even with inflation, I would not mind finding out what $1 million can get me in the good old USA. I'm sure there's a real estate YouTube blog for this country, or at least different cities. I do watch a lot of travel YouTube that's not Japan.
$1 million in the US might be able to get you a tank of gas and groceries for the week.
Not true. I actually, in Massachusetts, I actually filled up my gas tank for under $3 a gallon today.
Wow.
And autocorrect Doug, Turmoil, and Dome Keeper.
Okay. Turmoil, I know I have that on my Steam account. And Iron Mouse 4 weeks ago won the Content Creator Award, which I did see that, and I saw some of the reaction videos. I am very happy for Iron Mouse. Again, it's a VTuber that I've enjoyed for a while watching. You see her and Connor doing CDogVA doing a lot of YouTube content together and Twitch streams together. So the fact that she was actually won the Content Creator Award, I was really, really happy for her. She's very deserving. And who knows? Maybe next year, Angela win Content Creator Award. I know that you have stuff that you want to look into.
Yeah. And you know what? At some point, later this year, I don't know if I mentioned it live or not, but we actually booked our flights for our next Japan trip, which will be October 2024.
Yay!
So
nice.
So for me, I will not be. So while I'm there, I will not be on air because with the time change and all that fun stuff, not going to happen.
Because it'll be like Monday morning in Japan when we do our shows.
Instead, when I'm traveling, I will post interesting pictures that might be relevant to the AZR Facebook and Instagram pages.
And who knows, maybe she'll create some vlogs that could be edited and uploaded at a later date.
That is that is. I'm not going to say no. The other thing is before I leave, before that, if y'all want to do like a 1 hour, if y'all want to do like a short, not tonight, obviously, but a potentially, I'll do an AMA. I'll do an AMA where you all can ask all the travel questions or what things were like in Japan when I went previously, and I'll actually answer.
And what might be fun,
Considering the last AMA we had didn't garner much of anything.
Yeah, but
and you know, it might be fun, Darren, for you to bring Matt on, because didn't he go to Japan as well?
Yep, and he's on a return trip at some point this year, I believe. His mom is a huge Disney fan, and she wants to hit all the Disney theme parks in the world, and of course, Japan has several, and that's on the list.
Japan has 2 Disney parks. Japan loves their amusement parks, or their themed amusement parks. And when we went in 2018, we did a couple of them. Not Disney, but Disney has 2. Shonen Jump has 1. Super Nintendo has 1. There's a Universal Studios Japan. It's ridiculous.
Isn't there like a Pokemon park too?
There might be. We did. There was an. We did a Resident Evil themed haunted house type thing.
Are you gonna go to the Gundam Museum while you're out there?
We did do the Gundam. We did do the Gundam store when we were there last. On my Facebook page, there's a picture of me with the Unicorn Gundam. Now catching up with the chat. Ross says, Darren, are you the one who said you're gonna watch Hokkaido Girls Are Super Adorable because it airs tomorrow?
Yep.
Timothy says, almost watched Yu Yu Hakusho on Netflix. And then also says, better hurry. Word is Disney's in some financial trouble. Speaking of Disney, and then intermittent are some comments about Christmas. Ross says, speaking of Disney, Angela, did you hear the copyright release on Mickey? Yes, I did. Steamboat Willie is officially public domain.
I was about to say, Steamboat Willie, not Mickey. There's a difference.
There is a version of Mickey Mouse that's part of that.
Gloves on, gloves off.
I do not remember. I actually posted a link to my personal Facebook page about this. You know what? Hold on a second. What I'll do is give me a second to find that, and then I'll post the link in the chat.
And while she's doing that, for the football fans out there, and I know we have some listeners who are Bills fans, the game is currently tied in the second quarter, 7-7 between Buffalo and Miami.
All right. Link is going in the chat. There we go. Link.
But, you know, lots of good stuff. You know, we have a lot of things to look forward to in 2024. Now, there's going to be some changes where you may see less of me on the air with whatever work schedule that I may have. I am about a month away from probably getting marked up to being an actual conductor and not just a trainee, which means the paper schedules that I have been getting will go by the wayside, and I'm at the mercy of crew call. So whenever I get the call, I've got to go, and it could be on any type of job.
So that might mean you see
A lot more of Angela and Darren.
And also it could mean some scheduling changes, but as always, we'll post notices on our Facebook page, and also
Instagram, other social media.
Yep. Anime called Sign of Affection, according to Ross. Sign of Affection started yesterday and got me thinking, do you think there should be more anime about characters that have disabilities that people could connect to? Honestly, Ross, I'm going to say that depends. I would say if it's well written and not pandering, then absolutely they should be all in. I think all media should be all inclusive, but if it's there just to be there and actually is not well written, does not do a good job of connecting to people, then no, it's not. Then no, it shouldn't be.
If it's respectful to the disability and people who have it, then I'm all for it. But like Angela was saying, if it's just put in there to be like, hey, look, we have disabled people in here, kind of a gimmick or something of that nature, then no, it doesn't belong. There's enough tropes in anime that people are sick of seeing. And I'm sure Angela could list off a bunch off the top of her head.
Not in anime specifically, but
sure, it's called Isekai.
Isekai is its own train wreck. On the whole idea of disabilities, one thing, I don't know if we've got any Doctor Who fans in the chat, but with the specials that recently aired, we had one character in a wheelchair, and it wasn't a major character, but definitely got some screen time, and it was an extremely well written character. And then at the end, when we show the new Doctor and subsequently the new TARDIS had a wheelchair. They showed off the wheelchair ramp, so that was a thing. Timothy, new Doctor Who episodes are on Disney Plus. If you have that, there was the 3 specials for the 60th.
One thing I can say that 2024 will bring less conventions for me. Like I said, with the new work schedule, it's going to be few and far between on me being able to get out to events like I would like to. I know, Angela, with your traveling and planning, you're probably not going to be able to hit as many events as you'd like to. Darren's already got his beat. He's gone to his first con of the year. Who would have thought that Darren would beat us to go into a con?
Well, as
new
it
year,
stands
new
right,
Darren.
As it stands right now, my first convention is scheduled for March, and I have 2 back-to-back planned, back-to-back weekends. Not looking forward to that, but PAX East, Anime Boston, back-to-back.
You're going to be exhausted.
I am, but I will also, if the BCEC wants to cooperate, which it almost never does with their internet, you might see some Facebook or Instagram live of me wandering around the expo.
And I will try to keep an ear out for any of the YouTubers that I enjoy watching. If any of them talk about that they're going to be going to PAX East, because I know a few of them have frequented PAX East in the last couple of years, I will drop you a line and ask you to keep an eye out for them.
I'll see what I can do.
Because it would be fun to have him on the show, and one of them, his YouTube handle is Sigils, has written 3 books, so it might be fun to have him on to talk about his YouTube career and his career as an author.
Well, And now we're going into the going back to the chat to kind of address Timothy's comments regarding Doctor Who. Absolutely agree that it seems to take at least a couple episodes before the actor fits the role. Absolutely agree there. The Tennant specials were amazing. They introduced the new Doctor in the last one, and that actually, it looks like it's gonna be cool. I have high hopes. HH. So Doug, once you become a conductor, you have to film yourself conducting a symphony. Parens, I like Les Desires on a train with a word or with a wand with an electric arc. It's the trifecta of conducting.
I'm just not that electric.
And then back to Ross. I guess what I meant to say, for people to learn and understand about disabilities through the character standpoint. For example, Sign Affection is about a romance between a girl who was born deaf and has hearing aids, and the guy she meets starts learning sign language to communicate with her. That sounds like, if it's well written, that sounds like it's going to be fantastic. And Timothy says, I'm all for real people in stories as long as the story is appropriate and not forced. And yeah.
And I think that's where, Angela, you agree, and that's what you mean when you say good script writing.
Yeah. No, like for example, there are some shows where they make such a big deal about having a queer character, but the character's so poorly written, and it's like queer for the sake of queer, not a good job of representing that community.
Yep.
As opposed to something more like, for example, Gundam Witch from Mercury, where they had two girls as husband and as basically throughout a chunk of the series, it was discussion that they were going to be husband and wife, and it wasn't. It was definitely a very well written lesbian pairing. A Silent Voice was a poorly written, right? Question mark, says Ross. I don't know. I don't know that show.
I think that's a movie.
I've never heard of it. So,
is that on Crunchy? I think it might be. It's not on Crunchy. I'm not sure.
I mean, with anime, the other thing we get into is the cultural differences between the United States and Japan, and how Japan views these things as a whole versus how Americans view these things.
Yeah, that's another big thing to take into account. And I wonder if, like, with all the animes that have been coming out in the last 5 years or so, where we've seen such a huge uptake on isekais, we've seen such a huge uptake on music-based animes with Love Live and Bocchi the Rock and Shine Post, not just idol animes, but music-based animes in general. And you see the boy band animes out there and stuff. It almost makes me wonder if some of these Japanese studios are trying to appease the world audience, not just the Japanese audience. Like when anime first came out, a lot of the shows that sucked us in was because a show like Inuyasha was so different here in the US from the cartoons we grew up watching. So it intrigued us because it was something we didn't know. Now anime is such a worldwide phenomenon that these studios are now trying to put out more melancholy anime, more watered down animes to appease to a wider audience, as opposed to sticking to this is what we enjoy in Japan, and this is why you've enjoyed watching the shows we put out.
Oh, what in the heck? Allegedly, someone's at my front door. And I'm not getting up. I don't care.
Somebody's at the front door.
It is entirely possible it's Amazon.
At this time of night?
I don't know anymore. And looking at my phone, my husband just sent me a text a while ago that I missed, saying that he gets no shopping credit because he took me shopping on New Year's Day, and we spent literally just about the whole day down at the outlets.
Other ideas. Oh, go ahead, Ange.
So I will say I will actually give him credit. My husband is awesome.
And speaking of shopping, I do plan on at some point this year, when I have the extra funds, I do want to start buying those mystery like anime boxes and stuff like I used to get in the past, and doing more of the live unboxings. Is that something that you as a fan base would enjoy to see us put out content like that? You can go, go to FYE, get snack crates, get the Japan crates, get Akibento isn't around anymore, but stuff like that.
Tokyo Treat and Boxu are subscription Japanese snack boxes.
So that's a good question for all of you, our wonderful listeners, and put comments down in the video here and let us know if that's something that you'd like us to do. Or go over to our Facebook page and shoot messages of, mystery
things
boxes.
You want to see.
Yeah, give us ideas of bonus content that we can put up on the channel.
Ross, to answer your question, no, it's not Unicorn Gundam. It's actually Amuro from Gundam Wing.
She doesn't like Gundam.
To be fair, this was a Christmas present from from Doug.
It was. One year we did exchange Christmas gifts in person, so it was kind of neat because it was the first time that we had done that. Unfortunately, this year we weren't able to because of various circumstances.
Because we were, and shipping stuff is expensive. And nope, my other anime blanket is Yang from Ruby, which was also a Christmas gift from another friend. But yeah, I might attempt to do live stuff from convention, from Anime Boston, PAX East. I might also just I might also do more things at some point. At some point, there will be a special where Mario and I break down the final season of Attack on Titan.
I think that would be a fun show. I know Mario would be excited to do that.
The good, the bad, the good, the bad, the ugly, the WTF.
I just let my wife know that Darren had bought us the unifigure, and her response was, "She a pricey bitch."
And two times.
I'm laughing at Timothy's comment about trying to picture a Gundam themed like a unicorn.
Yep.
And
both.
Ross.
Ross says they saw a post today on X that there is a rumor about possibly one of my other favorite manga series getting an anime. Timothy's bringing up the number of anime that are being filmed in live action. Absolutely.
Hey, Darren. Kind of seeing if he's awake. We might have lost him. But curious if he would be interested if they did a High School DxD live action, if he would watch it.
Timothy said they did a fantastic job on the live action One Piece. Absolutely. I've rambled about that at great length. I absolutely loved it. And Ross says the show plus size elf about an elf who has trouble going on a diet and is hooked on potatoes.
So they took the girl from Attack on Titan and turned her into an elf.
I want to say that was Sasha.
I think it was Sasha. Like, I know almost nothing of Attack on Titan. I've seen enough cosplayers of her walking. AAC one year, there was a girl who walked around eating baked potatoes the entire weekend. I think by the end of the con on Sunday, she said that she ate like 15 baked potatoes through the weekend. And she doesn't even care for baked potatoes, but because she was in character.
I contemplated at one point when I had recently chopped my hair off, I thought about coloring it darker and doing Mikasa, and then just didn't.
Mikasa Yukasa?
That too.
I
Because
still am tempted to do a Boxo cosplay. I'm not going to lie. I think that would be hysterical. I would just need a box big enough to do it.
find a box that had a refrigerator in it.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if there are if there have been Boxo cosplayers out there since that came out. I mean, the show and you know, before the show came out, I said I wanted it to suck so I could pick on it.
I'm aware. I flat out refused to watch it on principle.
It had
and
no
I'm
right
sticking
being
to
as
that.
good as it was. Angela watched Freerun before she watches Boxo.
Yep.
And I've given, I have given you actual reasons why I feel that you would enjoy Freerun. But I also
Freerun is one
understand
I'll
the
get to
hype.
that one is one I'll get to it eventually in my non-existent free time. Isekai as a genre, I typically, for the most part, just don't enjoy. It has its place. There's occasionally a really freaking good one. Most of them are mediocre and, just not for me.
That's the good thing about Freerun. It's not isekai. It's pure
And
fantasy.
hence why I will actually hence why that one will eventually get on my list as opposed to most isekai. And vending machine, definitely an isekai.
Vending machine isekai. Reincarnated as a sword. That's supposed to be getting a second season at some point. That was still really good. That came up.
That's the whole reincarnated as a ... That whole concept just does not interest me. I'm not saying it's bad.
I want to see the isekai that makes fun of isekais by doing I was reincarnated as Truck-kun.
No.
Or a Truck-kun ends up getting isekai'd. Truck-kun ends up getting hit by a train or something like that and ends up, being isekai'd into another world as something else.
I wonder. I'd love to see Japan's take on Western franchises.
Outside of Star Wars?
Like Moriarty the Patriot was a very interesting spin and viewpoint for Sherlock Holmes. I would love to see. I'd love to see Japan do something with like the character of James Bond, for example, like a quintessential classic Western franchise.
So a James Bond, like Billy the Kid or Wyatt Earp type thing.
Exactly.
Let's see Japan's take on something like the A-Team or Dukes of Hazzard.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Like very, because we have things that are basically Americans' take on Eastern content. Some of it is really well done. Some of it is just not. And I'm not gonna ramble on, go down that rabbit hole at this time of night.
At some point, she will. I would like to see like a Mel Brooks type of anime. That would be an interesting mashup.
The General IEE tearing up in Middle Earth.
Oh, the General Lee.
Ah. NHH says a lot of non-Eurocentric countries see Western modernity as lacking culture, so when depicted in art, it's often just stereotyping.
And Tim is referring to the car in Dukes of Hazzard.
And HH, you might be right. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that might, if I'm understanding HH's comment, Hetalia. Spaghetti westerns have their place, and yes, I will agree with that.
Hitalia also, there's a lot of times, and we see in anime when they are bring in like a character from the US or something like that. A lot of times they go for the blonde hair, blue eye trope. So that's a common thing that you've seen in anime throughout the years, not just a recent trend. And it's interesting to see how anime has changed throughout the years. And the stuff they used to get away with that in today's world, and here we are in 2024, at the end of 2023 seasons and stuff, where stuff is more monitored than it used to be, more censored than it used to be.
Timothy's like, oh yeah, it says, oh yeah, the blue-eyed samurai. Blue-eyed Samurai's on my Netflix watch list. Haven't gotten there yet. I was gonna, and then I didn't have 90 minutes to watch the first episode. Ross says Apothecary Diaries. I didn't finish that. That was one that we basically ended up watching a few episodes, and then we got so far behind it was okay, we're gonna wait and watch that one when it's done. But Apothecary Diaries was actually, I really was enjoying it. So is that the...
And looking through trying to see if there's anything else that was new that had dropped that I was on my list, because shows that are on my list of winter 2024 that are, some are maybes, some are definite, some I've already started, but Banished from the Heroes Party season 2, Fluffy Paradise, The Weakest Tamer, Mr. Villain's Day Off is a possible, Gushing Over Magical Girls is a maybe.
No, it doesn't.
Feeling. Does this go in your pocket?
Sengoku Yoko was a possibility. The Way of Pawn was a maybe. There's an anime about 40 onsen. I don't remember the exact title on that one. And then, of course, the ones I started watching, Demon Prince of Mochi House, kind of has a Kami-sama Kiss feel to it.
From Ross, did you watch Seventh Time Loop?
No. I have not watched Seventh Time Loop. I heard Darren there for a minute.
So did I.
I didn't fall asleep, did I?
I think you did, because I asked a question and we got nothing.
And we rambled for like 20 minutes.
So the question I had for you, Darren, with all the live action stuff that has come out, if they made a live action of DxD, would you watch it?
Probably not.
Timothy in the chat, the last I really got into was about a gal who was a librarian and go isekai to a medieval world. And then Seventh Time Loop, I think, is the one that Ross is saying started today. John Knight says, have you watched Kami-sama Kiss Club? The answer to that for me is no.
Yes, I've seen both seasons 1 and season 2 of Kami-sama Kiss. That was a really good anime.
Ross says, quick, give me a scalpel. I need to check Darren's sinus rhythm. We do not have any scalpels. Sorry, fresh out.
Seventh Time Loop, the villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy.
On
That's
that note,
the title.
On that note, look at the time.
Yeah, we are just about out of time. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We've had a lot of fun over the years coming out here and chatting anime, having awesome guests, and of course, interacting with all of you amazing fans who tune in every week. I know I say it all the time, but thank you so much for all of the support and taking time out of your days to hang out with us, whether it be for a few minutes or a few hours, depending on where we're located. It really means a lot to all of us for the support and everything that you've given us.
And for the last comment in the chat, Magic Missile and Fireball are both amazing spells, Timothy. I've used both a lot in my various D&D campaigns. So
I've used Fireball a lot, but it was liquid form. And it is really good.
But on that note, yeah, looking forward to seeing what 2024 brings. And thank you all for being awesome.
And definitely we will be back next Sunday with more goofiness, zaniness, and sleep talking from Darren. Until then, I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Stay safe out there in the winter weather that has come across the U.S. Definitely enjoy the animes that are coming out. There looks like there's going to be some good ones. And until next week, we will see you again right here for more Anime-Zing Radio on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Have a great night, all.
Good night, everybody.
Night.